Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Right, it's Monday, we're right back to the top of the workshop looking at the top performing map at the moment, and it's this one, and it's glorious. I know you know it's going to be glorious. It is glorious. A little bit demanding, not one for those with potatoes for computers, but definitely worth it if you can run it. The creator were done twice in the past, episode 938 and 1230, where they got 13 stars on each occasion, and last time round were shortlisted for Map of the Year. Coming up in the second half of the show, a slightly less demanding map, a strong map, a request map, and one that a few of you will be interested in, so definitely hang around for that one. But the first half of the show is definitely going to be the star. But before we do any stars, got some clicks. That's right, clicking those stars, like buttons, is a very good way of supporting the channel, get me seen by more people and help me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's first map is, I'm guessing this is Praia. I'm going with Praia by ILCC 1983. Remember Revy? Oh yeah, oh yeah. There's your start square. It's just glorious. Everything about this map is going to look absolutely glorious. Terrain heights, plenty of buildable space in that middle of the map, as well as some very striking mountains. We'll get to them. Resources are strong across the map. Look at that. Even oil in the lake if you want to do some of that as well too. And then if you've got Sunset Harbour, we want to do some fishing, anchovies and salmon today. I'm hungry now. Okay, off to the workshop. It's going to take a few moments. So notice it's already 5-star rated. Go and give it another thumbs up, everybody. Okay, give it plenty of thumbs up. This is a beautifully written description with lots of information and checkpoints and what to do if things might be a little bit broken, which they shouldn't be, but if they happen to be, it covers everything. This is not just well written, but well formatted, well put together, and it just covers every little shout out for BonBon at the bottom there. Thank you. Okay, the one-click collection includes intersection marking tool, procedural objects, prop anarchy, tree anarchy, ploppable services, railway replacer, the animated waterfall, the Pariah theme, which is Pariah theme, which was made by ILCC, and the real neutral LUT as well. So plenty going on here. One little missing thing from the one-click collection, if you can add it LCC it'd be great, and that is the anim UV params, which the animated waterfall requires, and it's only something you'll spot if you happen to click on the animated waterfall, just tucked away in there. So yeah, if you can add that one, that would work. I don't think there's anything else missing from that list. It's quite extensive, quite heavy, and it's quite intense. I've had to turn down some of the visual settings to prevent stuttering. We have got a little bit of stuttering, a little bit of low frame rate. But the thing is, you can turn the visual settings, if you're playing this map, you can turn them right down while you're building, and then turn them right the way back. Let's have a look at one of these like digital signs. That's it, that's the way I'll go for, digital signs. Have a little look at this. But yes, if you're playing the game, you can turn the settings right the way down, then you can turn them up for your beautiful screenshots, because I know you want to do that, and then you can turn them right the way back down again for building again. This is just the slickest way of doing things. Or you can do the building with this is like a modders detailers map. A lot of this you're going to be building with the game on pause. Just if you are going to be playing with the game on pause, remember, do everything you can to avoid those death waves. So just like zone little small sections or plop sections, let the game catch up and then plop some sections again. So anyway, what I think we'll do is I think we'll just follow that. I mean, it's too pretty not to just follow the road across the map, and then we'll have a look around at a few little features. And this is one of those maps that we can only scrape the surface. It is insane, absolutely insane. See those mountains? See those mountains? They're insane. In fact, I would say these are game breaking. But not in a it's breaking the game sort of way. These are I would be showing you these streets, these signs, but it's procedural objects, and they are just, well, so no words. There's so much I can show you. All I'm going to say is, if you've got the PC capable of running this, even if you don't want to build on it, even if you go, nah, it's not a map I want to build on, subscribe to it, like it up, load it up, and just explore it. Look at the quality. It is a work of absolute beauty. Art. I go with art. Beautiful art. It's a work of beautiful art. Feels realistic. So much quality. I just superlatives. I don't have enough of them. I really don't. Does that mean I'm going to make this the next all-star map? Well, you'll have to wait a little while for that one. We'll take the drive across. We'll explore. This is I believe Italy. I believe, or a take on Italy. We've got very Italian-esque names, and the mountains do have that. The pointiness of the mountains is something I definitely associate with certain parts of Italy. There are some parts where your mountains are sort of like a little bit flattened, but they are really iconic. This is a map you're going to remember. It's just one of those that you go, well, there's one for the shortlist for map of the year. I would agree. It's one shortlist for the end of the year for maybe under the detailing category, because it is just so insanely. I mean, we're only about halfway across the map here, and there's so much. Everywhere you go across this map, there is stuff, and stuff of great quality. Start square. How about that? Shall we stop for a moment and have a look at the start square? Anyway, start square is here. We've got the rail running through it as well, with a little siding there as well. If you want to do a little terminus station or something down that way, that would work neatly. I think we can elevate a little. We can skip a little bit faster now, because we've seen a good chunk. Look at the fields. Look at the field. We haven't even looked at the rail. We haven't even looked at that. Maybe we should look at the rail as well. We've got we've got a swirly about over here with the rail. This is very Italian-esque as well. Look at the asset that we're using here for the arches. That feels very Roman. I know it's not Roman, but it's got that that very classical Italian style to it. So pretty. The whole map is so pretty. We're gonna scrape the surface and look at some stuff while we scrape the surface. Shall we head over towards this area first, because the mountains, all procedural object work. Now the thing is, where we are now is the top of the map. You cannot make the terrain any higher, and we've stacked up on top of the maximum height some more maximum height in procedural objects. These have got to be the tallest mountains ever within a Cities Skylines map, and I think a lot of people are going to be stealing this idea, and I don't blame them. It's exceptional, just exceptional. CC knows this, don't they? They know it's exceptional. I'm just stating the obvious. Load of buildable space there. Look at all the farmland down there. Let's have a little we're going to jump to just some points of interest, okay? Just some random points of interest. I could pick loads here. Like, we've got this ditch, a lovely ditch, just finding its way across. We tunnel underneath the highway here, and then it emerges down into the lake over here. I mean, exceptional. So good. Vineyards, yeah, but still getting that feel of Italy as well. Loving the curve on this, the way it's been worked into the hill, which is, again, very typical of the area and very tidily done. So many, I mean, let's just keep picking out. If we're going to allow for one detailing error on this map, I'm going to give it to this area here. Some nice signage work there. But have a look at this, the networking here, the retaining bits here. You could just see some glitching away. I'm sure that's not how it looks on IlCC's map, but I can only score and rate what I see here. I'm going to allow that for being the one tiny detailing issue. Anything beyond that, I'll have to lose the score down from a 5 to a high 4. Dry rivers, again, we are not in the wet season. Does actually clearly say this in the description. So dry season, we get the dry rivers, and you can see where the river would normally follow. I'm not going to pump the river up just to see if it definitely follows this track. I think it does. Eyeball checking this one. It's somewhere down this route anyway. I'm good. I'm good enough with it. I don't mind. And then over this side, we've got a matching one over this side. And this one heads up into the mountains this way. Smaller lake at the top of this one. But again, just look at the quality. I mean, we're being really treated here. If you've got the PC capable of running this, seriously, just take my word for it. Load the map up and just swoop down and look at little areas. And again, even if you've got no plans of building on it, just load it up and look and learn. So if you're a map maker, you're going to learn a lot from this map in terms of levels of detailing, standards of detailing. You got the old the cover there to protect the thing from rockfall and dirtfall, that sort of thing. Fields, where there aren't fields, got puddles. What do you do in a gap? Well, you put puddles down. I know it's not the wet season. We'll let them off. Okay. So maybe it's just showered a minute ago, right? That's what's happened. But yes, puddles. Brilliant. And the farmlands. Just look at the quality of the farmland. Absolutely. Just varied, and it feels natural. It feels believable. It feels like this area has actually been worked by real people and just not part of a random computer game created by some dude in their bedroom. I'm assuming that's where you made this. Could be the dining room. I don't know. You might even be a dudette. I don't know. Let's have a little look at shipping routes while we are here. 2 dead-end routes. The water's a bit shallow, but the instructions are, of course, to use some custom ships if that bothers you. Okay. Now, underneath here, we have a hidden tunnel. A hidden tunnel. That's where we started the review, right there. A hidden tunnel links over to here. So this is like just a little secret way of keeping the traffic down a little bit. You're going to get half the traffic on either route, basically. That's pretty, and of course depending on which way it's going. I like it. I think it's a very clever little thing there. Now, I have one little problem. And it's the river. Now, again, this is covered in the description. They say let the game run for a few months. I did this. I let the game run for a year. And then I let the game run for a year, having unlocked all 81 tiles. And whilst it's a little bit lumpy, if we leave it long enough, you'll see a big ridge coming down. 2 in-game years, one with just the Common Ground mod, and then one with all 81 tiles bought, and we just got a little bit of a lumpy river. It starts, I can actually show you where the problem originates down here, but there's a little bit of a problem upstream as well on my load of the game. I'm guessing this is not the case for all CC. Again, I can only report what happens when I load the game up here. And there's nothing I can do differently here. I bought all 81 tiles. There's nothing more that I can do to prevent any water glitching from happening. But yes, it's a little bit stop-start at the bottom here. Occasionally stop-start at the top part of this river as well. Let me come back and let me show you where the problem, I think, is originating down here. And that is with the river over here. It pinches a little bit here. It floods a bit to the right fractionally over that way. And then it'll bounce off of here. And then what happens is you then get the long bend of the river, which exacerbates the bounce of the water. So yeah, long curved rivers can have that lumpy, bumpy stop start. You can see there's a bit of flooding there. So yes, it's kind of bouncing off of one side, bouncing off of the other, and then we're getting the ripples, and it's sort of originating there. But again, we've got a little bit of problem at the top of the river as well. There's another little river over here, which isn't quite so bad. Now I've bought the 81 tiles. Previously, I just using the Common Ground mod. This was a bit bumpy, a bit lumpy bumpy. It's not so bad now. It is a little bit, I don't know, just gloopy, I'll say now. Not very pretty. Which makes me think, can I give this map 5 stars for aesthetics? Because while it's obviously a 5-star map for aesthetics, can I give 5 stars for aesthetics when we get a river down here which is just mind-blowing? Okay, this is gorgeous. We have the animated waterfalls, which again, because the anim UV where are we? Yeah, the anim UV params mod isn't listed in the one-click collection. These won't be animated, so I think I can justify holding it back from the 5th star for aesthetics, which I think is ridiculous. I'm saying this myself, and I think it's ridiculous. You don't need to tell me in the comments it's ridiculous, but 5 stars for in my ratings is where there is nowhere left to go, and if there's nowhere left to go, then 5. I think there's room to go with this one, but I mean, just hardly anything. Criticize me now, go on. Is this a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Please, come on. Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now. Place your vote. Make sure you vote on the correct map. There are 2 maps to vote on. And I'll let you know what I think, okay? Because this one made me cry. Because I really thought this was going to be 5s across the board. In terms of aesthetics, I was really on the verge of giving it the 5th star, but that river is a little bit gloopy. That side river, I would have forgiven the main river, but that is a little bit gloopy, and when comparison to the last river I showed you, I think there's a little bit more room for give for just making this thing a little bit more beautiful. It can be more beautiful. Top end of 4 stars. Detailing, the only thing holding this back is that main river, and it is a bit gloopy, and I've done everything I can, and I've waited 2 years. I'm going to go at the top end of 4 stars, but again, this is clearly just excessively brilliant, isn't it, in terms of detailing standards. Gameplay, yeah, I'm going right up to the top with 5 stars. I would play this map even with the gloopy river, because once you pause the game, just wait for the river to settle for a few moments, and then take your screenshot. It'd be spot on. Going to give it the BonBonB seal of approval. I am going to make it on the shortlist for Map of the Year because it is exceptional. And I'm going to take a brief intermission to pull myself back together, and we'll have another look at today's second map. And so on to our second map. This one from a creator we've reviewed 3 times in the past on the show, but only 2 different maps, because 1 star for detail. BonBon didn't notice that one of the maps had already been reviewed. So it's a bit unfortunate though, because that map got 1 star for gameplay potential on both occasions. Oops, but no such problems with today's map. It's got a little something about it, including a little bit of a nod back to Icania, the late great Icania, and the magic tunnels. Today's second map is Wooden Hills version 2 by ALPENTRAINER. Now, we haven't reviewed version 1, so it seems only fair we can have a look at version 2. Let's have a little look at that start square, which is quite pleasing. Quite pleasing indeed, including, ooh, it's a castle. We'll check that out later. Promise you that. The terrain heights, a nice shape to this one, including some wooden hills. Made out of wood, those hills, you know. Resources in blotches, definitely strong and playable. Not to everybody's taste, but definitely strong and playable. And if you've got something to harbour and want to do some fishing, it's mostly anchovies with some salmon here and there. Okay, off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, I've got a few things to subscribe to on the right. I've got a slightly newer version of the Unlimited Trees mod. Tunnel entrances there as well. Now, there's a shout to Hadith and her magnificent Rheingold and Lawley theme and LUT. But there is a recommended second theme, which is the See the Valley 4K theme. And we'll, of course, be using the realistic 1.2 LUT because nothing else has been suggested. yes, Hadith, we've covered this one in the past before. In fact, it caused a little bit of a storm in the past before. It's a Patreon only supporter theme. Again, well worth having. I've had a look at it and I've seen the work, and Hadith is an absolute top creator. But with these reviews, I want these to be maps that are freely viewable, freely usable for you guys. And so whilst the subscription to Hadith will make this map pop even more than it does already with the Cedar Valley 4K, I mean, that's amazing, but I have to show it in a way that is free. This is a workshop, not a I mean, I do occasional DLC reviews, but yeah, this is a workshop, and workshop has to be free if I'm going to be doing the these kind of reviews. There's your start square. Got a little tunnel there, which we'll check out in a few minutes' time, and the highway, which goes into a proper highway, heads off towards the edge of the map over that way there, off that way. But we're not going that way. Oh no, we're going to have a look at this tunnel, see where this goes. Now, let's have a little pop quiz. Where do you think this tunnel is going to pop out? Because there doesn't appear to be anything anywhere. Now, remember I said something about Icania and their magic tunnels? Well, way back in the day when they were alive and creating some amazing maps, they had one or two tunnels that did weird stuff. And this is one of them. This is a true magic tunnel. It actually goes off to the edge of the map. It's got a little extra special twist for us before we get to the edge of the map. And when I say a little extra twist, what I mean is literally a little extra twist. Oh, look at this. I mean, that is... it's definitely a twist. There was absolutely no purpose in that. It does sort of like come to surface a little bit, but it's right out deep in the fog, and I don't really care. But yes, so onto the rail as well. The rail is of a pretty decent standard as well. We've got a little interesting feature station area coming up, as well as some more magic tunnels to have a little look at. But yes, I highly recommend. I mean, if you don't mind a small subscription fee to Hadith for their Rheingold theme, it's definitely worth the pennies. Definitely worth the pennies. Oh, we've got a few trees in the water here. A little bit of drowned tree syndrome. And here's that little feature area there for station. A little bit of catenary chaos again for the BonBonBingo players. Link is in the description. And of course, I do have a tutorial on how to prevent catenary chaos. I'll get a little bridge spanning the river there. We could discuss the placement of the pillar, but it's not a huge problem for me on this particular map, so we'll just skim right over it. Yeah, so we've reviewed this creator, episode 1039, where they got 7 stars, including the 1 star dreaded. And then again in 1321, where I gave them 6 stars for the same map, and that 1 star dreaded. And then more recently, episode 1458, where do you think that tunnel's going? Huh? Where do you think it's going? I bet you're wrong. Ready? Pop quiz. I bet you're wrong. Here's the answer. The answer is nowhere. It just doesn't go anywhere. Okay, but we do have another rail tunnel. We'll have a little look at that one. But yeah, more recently in episode 1458, where they got a very solid 10 stars. Now, where do you think this one's going? Well, the answer is kind of nowhere. It goes to a little loop back, underground loop back. And this tells me the map is kind of unfinished a little bit, because that's meant to be doing something. And there's another clue later on that tells us that the map's a bit unfinished. Like over here, we've got this, which, little bit of tunnel detailing. Okay. And there's actually some tunnels under there, but it doesn't actually go anywhere there. And this one, this does. It goes off to the edge of the map in one direction and kind of skirts off towards the edge of the map in the other direction, away from the start square. And I don't have any problems with extra rail lines that go and cover different parts of the map. But yeah, that's not really in the direction that we're focusing on for the city build. But a secondary city, we already have rail down that way, is a good thing. We've got plenty of buildable space. It's very nice. Very nice for buildability. Just around the bay there, lots of rivers to break things up, some interesting tree shapes as well, which is all good. And of course these wooden hills, which are very wooden. Now the dam, I don't mind the dam here. It is kind of facing backwards, maybe by design. I don't know how well that would hold up to the weight of water pushing on it, but it's a dam, and it's up there in the hills, in the wooden hills, no less. Now we've got some very sexy shaped rivers. There's some sexy rivers and some sexy islands on this map. This is a sexy river. We've got a few little drowned. Now these are drowned trees. Yes, they've got their trunks on. Don't worry, it's fine. You can look. Anyway, yes, one sexy river, another sexy river over here, and I'm pointing these out to show that they are a few drowned trees there as well, but they are very capable of making some very sexy rivers, and that's what those two are indeed. And then we have a not quite so sexy river. This one looks unloved to me. This just looks unfinished. We start building the river and then we get distracted, or we forget it's here, we run out of time, and then we share it on the workshop. And listen, this is way away from the start square. I wouldn't worry too much about it. But in terms of extra stars, you're not getting them for that. Now this lake here, you can see where the tree line is. I mean, I'm liking the tree painting. Look at the tree painting here. It's beautifully done, the way it blends into the mountain. Now we got the hard, oh, it even goes up into the mountain. That's really nice. And we got a hard tree edge, which kind of says to me that's where the lake edge should be. But the map is just starting, and you may notice we actually have some water flow pushing on into the lake. And that kind of indicates that maybe I need to let the game run a little while. So let's speed the game up and see whether this fills. And the answer is it's not going to. What we really need is a spawn in there just to bring the water up to the correct level. And that would be lovely. But yes, I can see the effort. Now, I did say something about sexy islands. I love these islands, okay? And I know we're looking at with the wrong theme, okay? The second recommended theme. But, oh man, these are really lovely. I'll tell you, these just pop. They are just so good. I'm loving it. It kind of, the trees don't quite work with the beaches, but they also work with the beaches in also almost in a chaotic way, almost. Now we've got the water pouring out these pipes here, and this is actually what's feeding that lake, and of course it's diverging and going off in the other direction as well. And so yeah, I think we do need to spawn in the lake, because you can't rely on that to fill up the lake that we were just looking at. What more have we got on this map to look at? Ooh, it's a castle. Ooh, it's a castle. Okay, lots to like about this, and a couple of things not, in my opinion. I'd be happy pulled up. I'm loving the shape and the design, and a couple of the ideas that have been popped in here as well. I mean, I don't mind the castle gate like this, because it's fine. Something was there and then it's like it's gone in recent years. I can live with it. It's not the most exciting, but I can live with it. I'm loving the trench work. I don't know what it's meant to be or what it's meant to symbolise, but I love the trench work on it, and that for me really works. Also, big shout out for leaving the holes in the towers, not actually putting the city wall through the towers. Now, gates on the outside, doors on the outside of the towers, outside walls make it easier to break into the castle, and we've got a few which have doors on the outside. I mean, I don't mind maybe one of them as maybe sort of like a groundskeeper's access to the outside world, but all of them, more or less, a lot of them, for me, is a bit of a lose, a bit of a minus point there. But yes, I don't know. But overall, I love the location. Also, it's okay, we've got guns. We've got guns to defend us. Well, what sort of view have these guns got? You're going to be blasting away at your own walls. The angle of those guns, he's got a little view through there, even if you remove the trees. He's got kind of those two as your views there. This guy here has basically got a really restrictive review through the towers. I don't know what's going on with those gun placements. I call that a fail. But overall, I like the castle more than I dislike it, but there are a few minor fails in there. There's a few other bits of areas of interest that we've skipped over and completely ignored, because there are loads. I mean, there's lots to like about the map, isn't there? There's lots to like about the map. I think there's lots to like about. Let's have a little look at the shipping routes. We haven't looked at the shipping routes yet, because we'll see there are some ships buzzing around. Let's get rid of that. So we have one that comes in from the side. Now it does go into the main harbour kind of area up here. Got a bit of a right angled turn going on there, so you're going to get ships doing some silly motions and following a weird path around the island. I don't mind the path, but it doesn't make the most sense. Also got a little bit of left behind underground tunnel as opposed to the overground tunnel. There's even a little bit of a ditch going on there, which says there was something there at some point that ALPENTRAINER has decided didn't want to be there. Plenty of strong water flow in the start square, so no issues. So yeah, for me, it's a map that was, there were some ideas that were taken away because they maybe didn't work, and it just it's a little just a wee bit unfinished. It's finished enough. It's finished enough, but there's signs that more work might have been done. But what do you think? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month. The Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now. Take you to the voting page where you can vote for free. And make sure you vote on the correct map, because of course there are 2 links. Right, so what do I think of this second map? Well, aesthetically, I think I have to push it into 4 stars. I can't go into the higher ends. There's plenty of more polishing and shining that can be done to it to make it really pop. And of course it would pop a lot more if I was using Hadith's theme. But given what we've got, I'm still going into 4 stars, but I'm going to go towards the lower end. Detailing, there's plenty of good work on this map. And there's a few little niggly bits holding it back. And the thing is, I think there's enough niggly bits for me not to be able to give the 4th star. So I'm going to go towards the top end of 3 stars and say it's a fine job, if not an excellent job. Gameplay, do you know, I'm so much on 4 stars. I think this is a 4-star map, but again I've got to penalise it because there's so many niggly bits to clean up that I think we go for the very top end of 3 stars. It cannot go any higher than, and just because there's so many niggly bits. Wooden Hills version 2 by ALPENTRAINER is a very strong map and shows that they are actually a good map creator. Forget Bergtal where they got the 1 star twice. Just ignore that. Ignore that. That's as much my fault for reviewing it a second time, not noticing we've done it before. But I can increase your credibility. I can. What if you're still here? I can. One of the things I can do. How am I going to do that? By suggesting you use the words of the day into the comments to prove you're part of the 20 and out elite. And I'll see you again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.